Alright, you are back with comedian Doug Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So we got kicked off site today by the union. So it was an RDO today, rostered day off, and you're not meant to work on rostered days off. But somehow our company negotiated us to work at normal prices. So I went in because I need the fucking money. I was just off work for 2 weeks and I'm about to go off work for 5 weeks. So I'm willing to do the hours. Anyway, we get on site, everything's fine. Then we go to lunch and I'm coming back late from lunch. I went and got a coffee and I sat down for a little while. I looked around and I was about 5 minutes late getting back to work after lunch, and I get into the lunchroom. And the boss is there. I'm like, oh, all the boys gone down. And he's like, nah, union came on and kicked us off. I'm like, you shitting me? Really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, are you fucking, no, you're joking, aren't you? He's like, no, the union came, like, we're all going home. I'm like, are you serious? I was trying to make it sound like I was annoyed at the union. Like, are you serious? But I feel like the truth came out in my voice. It was just sheer joy I was asking, and I didn't want to be disappointed. Pure, unadulterated happiness. You're shitting me. So yeah, apparently while I was off on my long lunch, the union came on and were like, what the fuck is everyone doing here? For starters, I don't even know how my company is even allowed on a union site. In Melbourne, if you're non-union and you go to a union site, there'll be like 15 guys on Harleys with baseball bats ready to kick you off within like 15 minutes. We're just there fucking working away on an RDO. So the union gets on and the union can't really do anything to us, I suppose, but there were a few union boys on site because they had to open the site so we could work. So once the union got on site, they told everyone who was union to get the fuck off site, and obviously we had to follow. So it was good. Well, it was good. We got paid for a full day. I only worked half a day. But the thing is now, like, I get home and if I have an early day, it's not like chill. It's just chores, do this, drop someone there, it's not exciting. It's not like I go home and it's just Boyle time. It's probably better just to stay at work longer. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. So that's been going good until Friday when I didn't go because I stayed up too late. And then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I also didn't go. So really, I went 3 days last week. That's it. But starting again tomorrow. So it's an early one. So let's get straight to this week's Ask Boyle time. I got that fucking mixed up. Anyway, if you have a question that you would like answered by one of the greatest minds of the generation or any generation, comedian, let's rearrange this. Waterproofer, comedian, philosopher, crane operator, Le Boyle, then head to my website, boylecomedy.com. There's a section there for Ask Boyle. Put your details in, bada bing, bada boom. Then if you're feeling real frisky, how about you write in a fucking fucked up Friday story? It's right next to it. FUF. If you're a retard and you can't really write, just fucking put the basics in and then just get ChatGPT to fucking bang one up for you. Or just write it out retardedly and then just say, fix this. It'll be fine. Or just send in your retarded story. Who gives a fuck? It makes no difference. But get in the fucked up Fridays while you're there. Also, join the Patreon, £1 a month. Get on it. And let's get to this week's Ask Boyle. So this week's question was sent in by my man Harby. And here it is. I have a simple yet deep question for the greatest mind of the generation. What goes through your head when you see alcohol after not drinking for 5 years, such as a half-drunk beer left out on the tabletop or even when you're at a supermarket walking past the beer section. I'm curious, as when I'm going through periods of no drinking, I look at beer like it's a snack. I have a brief moment of tunnel vision before I snap out of it. I'm interested to hear if this is a normal for hardy drinkers and your experience along your journey of quitting alcohol. I've recently gone back to listen to your podcast from the start and think the way you recorded your journey for the first 3 months should be studied. Thank you, Le Boyle, for reading this. Well, Harbhajan Singh, you have come to the right place. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I just got back from Vietnam and there wasn't even like the slightest chance I was ever going to drink in Vietnam. There was like times I was like, it would be real nice to have a drink here. But even when I was thinking that, I was like, I don't like just having a drink. I like fucking loading up and going mental. And I don't feel like loading up and going mental. That's for sure. So it's not even really that much of a like challenge anymore. Its hold on me is pretty weak now. You know, I've got like 5.5 years distance between me and my last bender. And since then, everything's gone pretty well. And things weren't going well before then. So the magnetic pull has weakened. And it's funny you mentioned those half-drunk beers because I was actually thinking about that the other day. Like when I was in my prime, I just couldn't leave a bar. Like, you know, when you're drinking, you're having drinks at a bar and you're like, all right, the taxi's here. We got to leave or we got to go quickly to the next bar. And everyone would like finish as much beer as they can finish in their glass. And obviously I would nail, even if I just had one sip, I'd nail the whole thing. But there's people who would have like half a beer left and just take one sip and put it back down. And then they were going to walk out of the pub with like half a beer sitting there. And I used to be like, what the fuck are you doing? And if they were going to walk out, I just drank their beer. I'm like, what a fucking waste. So sometimes I'd be drinking like three people's dregs just because I couldn't leave beer just sitting there like that. I couldn't walk away from it. I'm like, if you're not drinking it, I'll drink it. This is insanity. You're leaving good fucking alcohol on the table. You're leaving a lot of good times there. That was one of the signals where I was like, maybe my drinking and their drinking is a little bit different. Because I would rather miss whatever we're doing, no matter what it is. Last day of the fucking cricket, AC/DC concert, I'll miss it all rather than leave like 3 sips of a beer just sitting there in a pub undrunk by itself. I don't think I ever left a sip in a beer ever, unless I was like completely wiped out. I do know when I drink at home or like parties or my mates' houses and that, there would be a lot of like full beers lying around because I'd take one sip, forget about it, go to the fridge, get another one. I did do that a little bit, but that was just because I was fucking out of it or whatever. But I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, because I think I saw someone walk out with like 3/4 of a beer left. And I was like, that's fucking wild. And I got the urge. I was like, fuck, if I was still drinking, I'd nail that beer. I would have just walked across there and slammed 3/4 of a stranger's beer. Now, it still annoys me. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? Just neck it. But yeah, when I'm walking through like duty free at the airport and stuff like that, I still have a look around. I'm like, oh yeah, that would have been nice. Sometimes when I see gin, I'm like, fuck, I would love to fucking slam a nice, fresh, ice cold gin. Soda water, just a splash of soda water, either a double or a triple gin, squeeze of lime, fresh lime, shitload of ice. That does excite me a little bit. Not so much the taste, just the feeling you get after it. But yeah, I don't really feel anything from it anymore. The start was a little bit different, But now the attraction, the magnetic draw has dissipated. It's just a time thing, I think. It's just one of those things where you just have to wait it out. And I feel like it's around the 4 or 5 years that it just doesn't really become a thing anymore. I'm not exactly white knuckling it every day. Occasionally, maybe once a year, I'll get hot flushes because I want to get fucking wasted. But it's not a constant concern. Anyway, fucking Harby, I'm going to fucking bed. That'll do it for tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.